The following presentation was made possible by the Altek Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Altek Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit altekmedia.com.
This is a young city, as we've alluded to a couple of times, and being a young city, I hear a lot of stories about the good old days, about 22 to 26 years ago, when there was one stop sign in town and one traffic signal, and how great those days were. And I want to talk to you today about how much better it is today. Murrieta is constantly improving. You're watching the development of a really exceptional city, and I really want us to take note as to how much better it is today, but how much better it's going to be 10 years from now. I see a day here where we're so amenitized as a community that you don't have to leave this town to go to work. You don't have to leave this town to go shopping. You don't have to leave it for entertainment and dining. We're really going to have everything you need right here. And so with that, let's get started. I'm going to go pretty quick myself. I know that's a stretch, but I did happen to bring this PowerPoint on USB drives. If I go too fast and I skip over something, I have them here. I didn't bring enough for everybody, just the important people in the room. So if you're important, you're welcome to have one. Kim will decide who's important. So our economic development vision, this is set forth by our city council, and it's to promote business. And let's stop right there. When we say promote business, we mean all business. We mean startups, we mean the businesses that are working out of their garage, home-based businesses. We mean small business to large. We're here to help and be a resource for all businesses in this community. Encourage private sector investments, and that also means small investment, large investment, and it particularly means foreign and domestic investment. We're here to help all of those and encourage investment in our city. The goal, of course, is to be a regional employment center. And right now we're not there, but we are well on our way. I love talking demographics in Murrieta because they may be perfect. I'm going to try to throw some challenges out there because I don't want to come off as too utopian when I talk about our town, but Murrieta is a great town. We have 114,985 residents. Our median age is 34.2. That's a little bit younger than the county averages. 28% of our residents have a bachelor's degree. So many of our residents have a bachelor's degree, even our silhouettes get caps and gowns. That's how educated we are. Now, county-wide, that's about 22%. So we're a little bit higher than the county averages. And as we just said, we're the #1 safest city in the country. So if you took any city over 100,000 people, we're safer. If you picked a city like Irvine, we're safer. McKinney, Texas, we'd be safer. Any other city out there, just random cities of over 100,000, we are safer than they are. I find this extraordinarily interesting. Murrieta is diversifying. A few years ago, we were over 70% Caucasian community, and now we're closer to 50%. So Murrieta is changing a lot. And why is that important for business? Because Caucasian people aren't opening small businesses anymore. You're seeing a great decline in Caucasian small businesses. They're down 5.5%. Who is opening small businesses? Minorities. They're up 38%. And if you're looking for STEM businesses, right now, you are more than twice as likely to start a STEM business if you're Asian than any other group. So if we really focus on trying to have STEM businesses opening in this city, a great thing to do is have an increase in Asian population. We went from 3.9% up to 10%. So we've seen a great increase in our Asian population. And let's compare ourselves to the county of Riverside. Murrieta is the 4th largest city in the county, and Riverside is the 6th largest county in the United States. So by my math, we're the 10th largest city in the United States. Go Murrieta. That might be wrong. And at this point, still 50% of our residents commute outside of town. So that sounds bad, but it's actually much, much better than it used to be. We are 4.8% of the county population, but you can see the problem's pretty easy. We're only 3.8% of the jobs. We don't have enough jobs in our town yet. That is improving, but we're still not there. We have higher incomes than the average. We have higher home ownership, which goes hand in hand. We have a younger population than the county and a larger household size. What does that mean? We're a family community. Now our incomes are extraordinary. We're higher than the county, we're higher than the state, we're higher than the Inland Empire. Our average household income is $99,000. Our median is $79,000. So our incomes are fantastic. And Gene touched on this earlier. We're nearing what's called full employment, where if you want a job, you can have a job. There's a job for everyone. There's just the part of the workforce that doesn't engage isn't in it, but everyone else can be. And do you notice how you don't hear the words underemployment anymore? Everybody was underemployed a few years ago, and we were all the victims of a society that didn't have the job that was good enough for you. You're not underemployed anymore. Every person in here has the job you're supposed to have. So don't feel bad for yourselves. We are watching wages rise and employment get more competitive. The Inland Empire was #1 in percentage of job gains in the last year. That means we're gaining jobs faster than any other region in Southern California. We're #2 in absolute job gains, and what that means is LA is just bigger. So we're not going to beat them in absolute job gains because they've got 10 million plus people. So Murrieta's growing business. Last year, we added about 1 new business license every day. This year, we're averaging over 3. That may be a piece of the economy, that may be a piece of our changing demographics, but we now have 1,163 applications received so far this year. We have 4,405 active local business licenses. That means business licenses that originate in the city of Murrieta. We have over 9,000 business licenses total, so that includes everybody who does business here, even if they originate in another town. And our employment growth. We are outpacing our population growth. So we had a 4.7% increase in jobs last year. Our increase in population was 1.05. So if we keep on that track, we will bridge some of that 3.8 to 4.8% gap that we have within the county. We will start to become a job center. And the way it's happening is across the board. We're getting jobs in manufacturing, construction, retail, professional. And all of these categories didn't just grow in the last year. Everything's up about 50% over the last 8 to 10 years. So across the board, jobs are getting better in this city. So what should our goals for growth be? We need to continue this outpacing the growth of the population. We need to make sure that we continuously have more jobs coming in than we have new residents. We've got to stop being a net exporter of jobs. Right now, we're about 16,000 jobs short, and we talk about the fact that so many people are commuting. Even if they weren't, we have less jobs than we have residents. We need to balance our workforce with the number of jobs we have, and that's going to be done by continuing this pace that we have of outgrowing our population. And it's really helpful to look at the areas that the Inland Empire is growing in. The sectors that we ought to be targeting are listed right here. These are the places we're seeing growth throughout the region. Our commute times. I have no idea if this is a good statistic or bad. We have the same commute time average that we did here from 2000. So it's not getting worse, and that's probably good, but it's not getting any better. So right now, it's 38 minutes is your average commute time, and about 1/4 of our residents drive at least an hour each way. So I don't think that's fantastic, but on the other hand, with the increase in population in the region, it's not getting worse, so that's a good piece. Now, the #1 place, if you're a resident in the city of Murrieta, the #1 place that you will work in is in Murrieta. We actually beat out Temecula by 0.1%. So we're nearly 15% of our resident workforce that actually works here in town. And I want to compare that to our neighbors. Temecula's workforce is pretty balanced. They have about as many jobs as they have people in the workforce, and they're at 25.7%. So it could be assumed that if we get to the same point where we have the same number of jobs as we do workers, that we could find a similar balance. And if you do a really good job of bringing in the right kind of employment, you can actually get that number a little bit higher. And how do you do that? Let's start by starting up our own businesses. How important is it to have businesses start and originate in town? We sit between 3 of the top 13 startup markets in the country. Riverside, San Diego, and Los Angeles are 3 of the top places for businesses to start up. Now, we sit right between them. I would think we'd have our fair share of that, but there's a problem. We don't have any funding here. There's no capital for startup businesses. That is starting to change. We have a great partnership with InsoCal Connect and Scott Brofsky, who's their executive director, and he has done a wonderful job of bringing a partnership together with UCR. UCR has brought training programs out to the Murrieta Innovation Center. We've started up a regional ecosystem that you can get training, education, and resources for your business. And they've started what's called the Highlander Fund. It's a $10 million seed fund. And they're about to give their first business money. So our Murrieta Innovation Center is where most of our startup activity happens. This year we had over 300 events. Networking, workshops, meetings, tours. We had all kinds of good things going on. Last year we had 143. There are now, this year, 3 medical technology companies that have been approved to work out of the Innovation Center. Last year, we had 0. We have 2 more medical technology companies with applications who want to come in that are waiting in the pipeline. I think a great goal for us would be to get to 5 med tech businesses working out of the Innovation Center. And this is usually the part where we talk about all the great big new projects that have come into town. And I don't want to do that exactly because I'm scared that that misses all the little guys. Let me just say this. We have applications and pre-applications across the city in all of those areas. We have applications that come in across the board in different sectors and industries, from healthcare to hotels to restaurants to retail to big box retail to office space. So we're getting interest in every sector, but they're all important. And retail, we want to talk about our goals. Our retail vacancy rate is close to 10%, which is far too high. The county average is 7%. So we have more retail vacancy than we ought to. One of our big goals should be to fill our big boxes. We have some spaces. If you look center by center, most of our centers occupy about 95% of their square footage. But there are some that are far below that. And they're far below that because there's a big vacancy within that center. And we have to look really creatively as to how we can fill those. We need to look at entertainment uses. We need to look at maybe splitting those spaces, or just something that's outside of the norm, because there's not usually another big box of the same size looking to come in there. Another way to lower that vacancy rate is if we happen to get some new big developments that filled immediately, that would help us drop it. Industrial, our goal needs to be development. I'm sure you've all heard this before. Our vacancy rate is extraordinarily low, at 1 to 2%. We right now are in the terrible position of, if you have a really good business and it's doing extraordinarily well, we don't have a bigger building to put you in. Let's say you need to expand from 15,000 to 30,000 square feet. There is no 30,000 square feet building waiting for you. So what happens? You now have to look in another city to take your job away to. That goes against everything we're trying to do here. We desperately need industrial development. We need it 5 years ago, we need it yesterday, we need it right now. So that is a key goal of what we're doing, and once again, it helps to know who our tenants are. This is the City of Murrieta's tenant ratio. Office is much the same. You can see our vacancy rates have gone way down, and the asking prices have gone way up. So with rates dropping and rents rising, we really need to get more office space brought into the city, particularly of a Class A variety medical professional. So we've got a lot of opportunities. I mean, starting with the fact that the city's diversifying and our jobs are growing faster than our population. Our vacancy rates are low and our incomes are really high. We've got a great quality of life. We really, really need development. And you're seeing what looked to happen 20 years ago in LA and Pasadena and San Diego, the start of an ecosystem where businesses can start and get funded and capitalize and commercialize and come to market. We've got small businesses opening at record rates. So there's a lot of really good things going on here. But what do we need to do as a city? We need to really start focusing on small business. We know from the SBA that 63% of growth and new jobs come from small businesses. So it's really important that we get big businesses in here, and it's really important we support them, but we've got to support the small businesses too. And we do that with a variety of programs and resources we have here, but I think it's really important that we reach out on an individual basis to our small businesses. We need to work on business retention. Some of that comes from development, having places for businesses to go to. Some of that comes from making sure we have relationships with our businesses so that they know that we want them here and are here to assist them if they run into any roadblocks. We do need to work on that retail vacancy rate. 10% is too high, and that number is going to scare away certain retailers. We don't need that. So we need to make sure that we get that number down. We need more Class A office space and more business park space. We do this with a lot of partners. This is not all inclusive. There are many, many more, but I want to particularly thank Michael Fisher because I saw him here today. We have one of the best SCORE representatives in the country, and we're lucky to have him here in the city of Murrieta. We refer him so much business, he had to bring in additional partners to help. So thank you, Michael. And of course, the Chamber of Commerce, who we work with on a near daily basis. We do business walkabouts, Mike with a Y for some reason. We go weekly and go door to door to meet our local businesses. We do events like this. They partner with us at ICSC. We will be having a job fair in February. If you have a business in town and you would like to hire locally, we would love to have you come out to that. Please see me. I would love to get you involved in our job fair. And Patrick and I are working on this concept of a franchise expo to find out who our entrepreneurs are. We also have a program called the MBA, the Murrieta Business Advocates. The MBA program is intended to have you bring your industry sector to us. If you would like to network and outreach for the city of Murrieta, we would love to have your assistance. So please let me know. We have a little one-page sheet as to what it entails. These are all the sources that I stole information from for this event, so if you need any of that, I can share it with you. And of course, we have a very large department. There's myself and Hilder Sam and Brenda Beezer. So if we can help you in any way, we'd be more than happy to help you. We're much like the Dodgers in our economic development department. We're one starting pitcher short. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
The following presentation was made possible by the Altek Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Altek Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit altekmedia.com.